My friends, what's going on everyone? My name's Kai, welcome to the channel. Consider subscribing. I'm trying to hit 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. So my friends, today I'm really excited to show you this. I have wanted to make this video for a really long time, but today we are going to go over my video game collection. We're going to go over the video game room, the media room, my studio room, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go over that today. I picked up a ton of stuff while I was in Japan, and I'm really excited to show it off. So I'm going to show you some scenic pictures of my room, and then we'll go over my favorite stuff. Alright, let's do it. Alright everyone, so this is the first stop on my tour. So this is my Nintendo 64 Japanese import shelf kind of thing. It's got a lot of different catalogs on the top, but mostly this is full of Japanese Nintendo 64 games. One thing you'll notice is I've got a ton of boxed games, which is absolutely amazing because if you're in North America, you would know box games for the Nintendo 64 are very, very hard to come by. However, in Japan, box games are very common because Japanese people really keep good care of their stuff. So finding games in boxes really is not hard in Japan. So I ended up picking up, I think, I think probably 30 or 40 boxed N64 games during my entire 4-month trip there. So I want to show off some stuff that's just super wacky, and I don't think that you've ever seen it before. First off, I want to show you this. This here is a Tamagotchi game. It's a Tamagotchi Mario Party style game, and what's really cool about this game is the creators of Mario Party, before they made Mario Party, they made this kind of like as a trial to Nintendo so they could see what they could do, and they liked this game so much that they let them go with Mario Party. So this is actually a really cheap game. If you want, you can probably find this boxed on eBay for $25. So good investment, and even with the language difficulty, it's not too hard to play. Another thing that's really cool, here we go, Densha Go. Train simulators are very, very popular in Japan. I didn't really see much simulation for other things, but train simulators seem to be very, very, very popular there. So I ended up picking up Densha Go. I know my friend Rebecca is very excited for this, for a stream that I'm going to be doing. But this is cool. This is a full train simulator. And what's really neat about this, just give me 1 second here. So, what's really neat about this video game is that it has its own controller. It has its own train conductor controller, you know? I haven't tested it on any other N64 games, so I'm not too sure if it works just as a controller. I doubt it, but I'm going to show you something later on in the video that you'll really like, and you'll get the idea of why I think I might be able to use this for other games. So I'll be right back. Okay. Other games that you're gonna notice on here. Right up here is my collection of Sekio Habu Shogi. Now this game, I have so many of them. Just as a joke, I started collecting that game, this one here. Just as a joke, I started collecting this game, and I wanted to get every single copy that I could. One of my favorite YouTubers, myself, somebody who inspired me, his name's Chris James. He has a fantastic channel, but one of the gags on his channel is that he has like 90 or 100 like VHS tapes of Babe. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do a collection where I just collect a whole bunch of something random, and this is it. So I ended up picking so I have 21 cartridges of it, and I have 6 complete boxed copies of it. So keep in mind now, that whole collection was maybe $60, you know? These games are usually about, like, look, this one still got the price tag on it. 50 yen, which is like 30 cents, you know? Not very expensive. However, I thought that it would be absolutely hilarious to make that the center stone of my collection. Some other really cool things that I have here. I have the box copy of Legend of Zelda, which is very beautiful compared to the North American release. I think that box art is just very, very cool. Some other cool stuff. Here we have a sumo wrestling game. There's actually a couple sumo wrestling games on the N64, and this isn't just like one of the WWE games with sumo. It's got a full story. It's a full game, and I'm looking forward to playing that one on stream. That should be a lot of fun. This one here is very neat. I don't know how to pronounce the title of it, but this is a RPG fishing game, and it actually came with, and I bet you've never seen this before. I don't even see it being talked about on video game YouTube. So this is a Nintendo 64 fishing rod. Have you ever seen a Nintendo 64 fishing rod? I bet you haven't, because it was only released in Japan, and it was only released for one game. Here it is. So strange. But one thing that's really funny about this fishing rod is it does work as just a normal, for the game, right? But it's still a fully functioning controller. So you can use it as a normal controller. It's very awkward, and it feels like you're playing the Nintendo with a Bop It, but it is something that works, and we'll see that utilized in an upcoming stream. But yeah, I really wanted to show this off because I bet nobody's ever seen it. Okay, so other things on my N64 shelf that are really cool. This is something absolutely amazing. You'll notice that I have a lot of Mahjong shogi games. And I got them just because of the cultural significance in Japan. They actually televise shogi matches in Japan. It's very strange. But here is a Nintendo 64 cartridge I promise you that you've never seen before. So, again, I don't know how to pronounce this, but this was an online Nintendo 64 game. Back in the 90s, you could play this with your friends online. And you're wondering, like, how on earth how do you connect a Nintendo 64 to the internet, right? Well, you use a telephone cord, And then what you do is there's a modem that's built into the top of this N64 cartridge. So the 64 cartridge has this modem on it, and you can plug in your phone cord into your Nintendo 64, and then you can play online Mahjong in 1999. So I thought that was a super unique thing, and because I got it in the box with the original wire and all the original information, I thought that was just amazing. So I ended up picking that up. What else do I have up here that's of interest? Here is I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the superhero Ultraman, but this game is essentially a Pokemon Stadium game, except you're Ultraman and all of your enemies are enemies from the Ultraman series. So it's kind of like a Pokemon Stadium-esque game where the battle situation, but yeah. I don't know too much more about it. All I know is it's like Pokemon Stadium. Sorry about that, the camera battery died. Of course it did. Yeah, so we talked about Ultraman, we talked about we haven't talked about Castlevania. Castlevania 64 was called Demon Castle Dracula Apocalypse in Japan. So, that's amazing. Here was called Castlevania, there was called Castlevania Dracula Demon Apocalypse. So, that's lots of fun. This whole shelf is 2 games deep. The less exciting boxes are in the back. Here's Doraemon. Doraemon is a very, 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 I'm sure that you recognize Doraemon. Doraemon has 3 games for the N64 in Japan. And then check this out. Check out how beautiful the cover art for Yoshi's Story is. So nice. So beautiful. Really nice. And then, up here, we've got some really, really cool stuff. So up here I've got some Nintendo candy from Japan, Pokemon and Mario. And then we've got, this is very cool. So, this is an entire encyclopedia of every N64 game that ever came out. Very good book. I have one for the Nintendo 64, and I have one for the Famicom. The Famicom one is considerably bigger, but they're great. I have a Nintendo Power of Castlevania 64. I know I'm a big Castlevania 64 fanboy. It's a game that gets way too much hate, but I absolutely love that game. Got a whole bunch of strange stuff up here. There's a bunch of gachapons from like Ultraman monsters. I don't know if the camera will zoom in, will focus on that. Focus! There we go. There we go. Yeah, so strange monsters. My favorite Ultraman monster is this. What's his name? Gabu Seijin or Gundam Seijin, or either way, very cool monster from Japan. What other cool stuff? Oh, here is something very, very cool. Ooh. This is one of the most infamous games in the history of video gaming. This is Takeshi's Challenge, which is one of the original kind of Kaizo games, intentionally hard as hell. A very famous game. I ended up being able to pick up the boxed version of it, plus the manual for it. Plus I have a loose version of it. So very good collection there. I have this is a Wizardrill. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but basically it's like Dungeons and Dragons on the Famicom, but it's all like text-based. Absolutely impossible to play if you are not a native Japanese speaker. Here's a really cool Legend of Zelda guidebook that I found. The guidebooks in Japan tend to be much smaller. You know, the guidebooks here in North America are like magazines, right? But the guidebooks here, very nice still. So I've got that one, and then I've got one for, of course, Castlevania 64. Or, as it's known in Japan, Demon Castle Dracula Apocalypse. Real action adventure. So ridiculous. Up here I've got something pretty crazy. This is shark fin soup. And now I don't support, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's terrible. But I got this just because it's so common in Japan that you can just buy it at the 7-Eleven. You know, you can just buy it. You can just buy one of the most inhumane foods on earth. You can just buy it at the 7-Eleven. No big deal. What else is up here? This is a automaton. Yeah, it's annoying. Let's make sure that turns off. Alright, lots of N64 stuff. The last thing that I want to show off is Parlor Pro. This is a pachinko game where you join a gang, and the only way you're allowed to join the gang is if you win 100,000 yen in pachinko. And I thought, you know what? Pachinko's way too expensive to play, so I'm just going to get the N64 game, and I'll play it, and I'll see if I even enjoy Pachinko, and then if I get the hang of it, if I learn how to play it from here, maybe I'll take a little bit of money and go play Pachinko in real life. What I found out about it is, Pachinko is the most goddamn boring thing you've ever played in your whole life. Oh my god! So this, even in the video game form, I put on, I filled it with max balls, and I just let it play for about 45 minutes, and one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. Either way, that is just about it for my N64 counter. So let's move on to, let's go PSP next. Yeah, so if you guys can see behind me up here, I just have a huge PSP collection. What ended up happening was I never realized or even thought of the idea of falling in love with a Japanese girl while I was traveling in Japan. So what I did was I ended up saying to myself, well, you know what, you're probably never coming back to Japan, at least not for a really, really long time, right? So spend your money, because you don't know when you're coming back here, you know? Later did I find out I fell in love with Megumi, and I'm going back very soon, you know? That being said, I have a huge PSP collection now that I have to sell, unfortunately. So if you're interested, let me know. Other than that, I have put together, these games up here are about five games deep, and I put my favorite ones right up at the front. So let's say we got the Simpsons game. I think some of my favorites are Origins, Kenka Debencho, Infected, what else? Hatsune Miku. Alright, just to show off a couple of them. PSP, Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku is incredibly famous in Japan, so you'll see her on everything. Kenka Debencho. Very cool game. You're basically a high school student who is trying to form gangs, lead gangs, and it's a fun game. Silent Hill Origins. If you have a PSP, you have to have Silent Hill Origins. Really, really good. I really enjoy it. But my favorite PSP game, I think, is Infected. This is a game where you are it's a zombie apocalypse kind of thing, and you're in New York City at Christmas time, just blowing up zombies. Lots of fun. I really enjoy this game. This was definitely a high school game for me. A game that I played a shitload while I was in high school, and then when I was an adult, I was able to get it back. But the PSP, the PSP collection is just too big. It's just too big to even put into one video. It's just too much. It's just too much. The PSP collection on its own would be like a 45-minute video. If you guys are interested in it, shoot me a comment. You know, I have no problem making the video. I just don't want this video to be super long. Up here, one thing too, I try my best to collect boxed things. So this here is like the coolest packaging ever. This is a box for like an arcade stick for the Famicom. So that box looks so fancy. It looks so like high tech, right? And then the joystick is just this, you know. But it's really cool to be able to get the original box with the original joystick. So that's that. These are all my masks. I like to have different masks for different occasions. You never know when you'll need a mask. This is a mask that I made while I was in Japan. Kind of spooky with the two dots and the red. But you'll see that my got lots of squid masks, ghost masks. I like my masks. I like my masks. Okay, next thing I'm gonna show you is my N64, some more N64 stuff. Let's move over. Let's move this tripod over here. Can I move? Yeah. Yeah, here we are. So here I've just got a little shelf. It's got some good stuff on it. It's got the Majora's Mask up here. But this basically just has all of the non-boxed games that I got while I was in Japan. So there's a ton of really good ones. I got both versions of Mario 64. There's actually two distinct versions in sorry guys. There's two versions in Japan. There was the first one that ever came out, and this one doesn't have like any voice acting, it doesn't have any rumble pack support, doesn't have anything like that. It's got a bunch of glitches in it, and then this one is the updated version of it. It's got rumble pack support, it's got all of the voice lines. It basically has everything that the North American version has, plus rumble pack support. So it's pretty cool that they released two of them. Pretty cool. Other than that, you know, some games that are expensive down there, that are expensive here were dirt cheap. For example, here's Banjo-Kazooie. Is this 2? No, that's just Banjo-Kazooie. I think it was $1. I got DK64 for like $1. Yeah, good stuff. Mostly I just keep extra stuff here. Here's something that's quite cool. Bomberman second attack. Now, the North American version of this is worth like $600 or $700, and the Japanese version of it is worth like $4. What a shame. When I saw this, I was so excited because I was like, holy shit, I think I found a hidden gem. No, it's just a common game down there that's really cheap, unfortunately. Bomberman Second Attack. Good stuff. Okay, yeah, I've even got a couple like ROM hacks. Like this is a ROM hack of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Dawn and Dusk. You see a lot of these ROM hacks put online, like on emulators, but it's rare to see them in actual cartridges, so that's really cool. I got a couple other cool things here, like this thing here. This is a super heavy acrylic Kirby. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. There we go. It's a super heavy acrylic Kirby, and my girlfriend and I, on like our second date ever, we went down to Akihabara and we went to the arcades, and she looked into one of the claw machines and she said, "Oh, Kai, can you win me that?" And I looked at her and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I can win you that." And in my mind I'm like, "Oh shit." Like, now I've committed to winning a prize for my girlfriend, whether it cost me, you know, $1 or $20, I'm kind of like obligated to getting this, you know? And especially because I was like, oh yeah, like I'm the king of UFO catchers, no problem at all. And she's like, "Oh, I want to see you do it, and I'm like, "Oh really? You want me to prove it? You can't just take my word for it?" So she was like, I was like, "Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm playing it super cool." But in my mind, I'm like freaking out big time because I've won, maybe won. Either way, I did it first try. I did it very first try. I aimed it all up, I got it, it's going down, and right when it grabbed onto it, I'm like, I got it. And it went up, and I got it very first try. And I was so happy about it that she ended up giving it to me. So that's that. Here, I've brought this up many times while I was in Japan. It's just hair pomade, but it's got quite a funny name to it. Other than that, guys, I want to show off here. Let me take the camera off the tripod real quick. Here I have my little retro setup. So this Sharp TV, I would recommend it to absolutely everyone because it's got great picture and the speakers are very good in it. Here is my modded Famicom. It plays on AV, so good picture and everything. Right now I'm playing Bomber King, which is an incredibly fun but incredibly hard game. Down here, I've got my North American gold Nintendo 64, and then I've got my Japanese gray Nintendo 64, and I've got my Sony PSP, and this is called a Pocket Boy Plus. It's a portable Famicom. Yeah, it's a handheld Famicom. And then under here, I've got that controller I showed you earlier, the train controller, and the NES joystick. And that's really about it. I've got my Zelda posters up here. I've got my Yoshi hanging. Yoshi! Got a big muscle man up here. I've got my Majoras. Yeah, and that's really about it. You know, this is where I stream. I have my light up here, and I have two computers. I've got this one's running my OBS and everything, and then I'm watching it on the TV, and on this computer I'm watching YouTube while I'm streaming. And here, lastly, I just want to talk real quick about my huge world. So this world I started right when I started my YouTube channel, and if you notice, there's pins everywhere, and everywhere there's a pin, it's each country that has visited my YouTube channel. So this hasn't been updated in about 6 months, but the last time I checked, my YouTube channel has now been viewed in over 112 countries, which is a huge accomplishment for me. So, yeah, that's about that. The Majora's Mask, very cool. And yeah, that's it. Alright, so flip this around. There we are. My friends, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a good time. I like to do videos like this to kind of switch it up a little bit. I will be streaming a lot going forward, so stay tuned to my channel, and we'll have some fun. But I've got a ton of stuff that I'm really looking forward to showing you. As you can see, I'm looking forward to it. So guys, wherever you are, please be safe, please be sober. If you're not sober, don't worry about it. Be with good friends. All right, bye guys. Hey, before I end the video, there is one more thing that I really wanted to show, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to one of my viewers. I'm not going to give the name out, but one of my viewers saw that I was searching for that Violator action figure all summer while I was in Japan going to different toy stores. I had not been able to find this figure since I was a little kid, and I had been looking every single time I went into any toy store. For the last 25 years, I've been looking for this action figure. Here it is. A good friend of the channel and a personal friend of my own saw one of my videos where I said, if anybody can find this action figure, please let me know, because I want it so bad. And he ended up using some of his own money that he earned himself, and he's not, you know, rich or anything, so that was a very, very nice thing. It was the very first thing I ever received from a viewer, from a friend, and I just wanted to take a moment in this video to show it off. It's an incredibly cool figure. I'll never take it out of the packaging. If you were to take it out of the packaging, there's no way it would stand up anyway. And when I have my black light on, the eyeballs glow so well. So this means a whole lot to me. Little bit about the story behind this. When I was a little kid, my school, I'm sure that you guys know all about this. My school had a dance, right? We had a dance. It was called a dance-a-thon, and we would raise money, and either way. So at the dance-a-thon, there were prizes, right? And I was so young at this dance that I wanted my dad to come with me to the dance, because I was so young and I was so scared. So my dad came with me to the dance, you know? So that's how young I was. I must have been in grade like 1 or 2, you know? I was very young. But I won one of the prizes, and one of the prizes was this specific action figure. And I remember they called my name, and there was like a stage, right, in the gymnasium. There's a stage, and you go up onto the stage and you give them your ticket, and then they give you a prize, right? And I brought this, and I got it, and I remember looking at it and being like, oh, this is cool. And I remember running up to my dad, Daddy, look what I won. And then he looks at it and he's like, they're giving this to a grade 1? To a 6-year-old? And he's like, oh, no. And I never saw that action figure again. I never saw it again, but I remembered exactly what it looked like. That image was wiped from my mind until I was about 14, 15, and then ever since I was like 13 or 14, I've been looking for this. So, Tavis, thank you. Oh, I said his name. It doesn't really matter. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, let's finish up the rest of the video. Okay, so the last collection we're going to talk about is the Famicom collection. I've got most of my Famicom games hanging up here. I've got a couple more hanging out over there that couldn't fit, but they're not very good quality. Either way, if you want a really good system to collect for, let's say you've got 150 bucks and you want to get a whole bunch of games and a system and everything like that, go with the Famicom when you're down there. It's really inexpensive. I'd say most of these games were anywhere between 5 and 10 Canadian dollars, which is really, really cheap. I do have some that were much more expensive. I'd like to show those off. So, for example, this is a copy of Salamander. Salamander was the only ever transparent cartridge that was released for the Famicom, and it's a really good shooter too. This game here, it's called Sweet Home. The team that made this went on to make Resident Evil, the Resident Evil series, the first Resident Evil. So this game here is an RPG, and you're in a haunted mansion, and there's zombies, and it's really cool. It's really cool. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, so I need to wait until me and my girlfriend are back together. So we can play together. Another couple cool video games. So Mario 2 was not released in Japan until, well, it was a game called Doki Doki Panic, but then they re-released it as Super Mario USA. So this is a USA version of Super Mario 2. So it's the Japanese version of a American version of a Japanese game. Yeah, very strange. There's a couple other cool ones in there. Dragon Buster is really cool. I've got the Kamen Rider games and Ultraman games, so lots of fun. Most importantly, my favorite games here are Takeshi's Challenge. Really, really fun game. I'm going to be streaming that soon. And if you've ever heard of the old Japanese TV game show Takeshi's Castle, they actually made a Famicom game of that as well. So that is it. Oh, and this game, this nefariously hard Famicom game. It's so hard that if I were to be able to get to the third level, right, it would be a miracle. It would be a miracle. I have sat down several times trying to play this game, and it's next to impossible. Either way, guys, I'm just gonna turn that real quick. So that's my room tour. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not the best at making tour kind of videos. This is my first one I've ever made, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of the games I have, please let me know. If you ever have time, I'm usually live streaming, and over the next month or two I will be live streaming all these games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for watching そばリビング